Welcome all to the second round of the American Touring Car Championship Season 3. We are broadcasting live from the Eiffel Mountains, and the Nurburgring GP circuit is our venue. As you can see in front of you, the standings after round 1. Keith Barrick has taken the early lead in the championship after a race win and a third place. Just behind him was Yuri Braham, who also got 2 podiums. Francisco Villar's second race win at Road America helped him into third place overall, while the Honda of Jesper Tarborg in 4th, and Eric Nelson in the Peugeot 407 is in 5th. It's a very early championship table, as you can see. We are into round 2 now, and here we are now in the practice session. As you can see, it's a wet track. It's quite wet indeed, around about 50% wet in game settings. Current at the moment, it's Kane Lasky, you can see on track at the moment in the Bonaccord Ultimate Peugeot 407, 2:14.9, leading the way. Fantastic lap in the weather conditions. So 4 tenths clear of anybody else so far. Very much a Honda and Peugeot contest at the moment. Up at the front, Honda and Peugeot holding out the top 7 positions. It's Kane Lasky at the top at the moment. Jesper Tarborg has been very quick as well in practice. He's in 3rd place now, sorry, because Saul Boucher has just popped himself into 2nd place in the Peugeot also as well. There he is, in the DHR Simcraft colours. Jesper Tarborg is still lapping out on the track, headlights on, in his Synaptic Racing Honda. 4th place is the DHR Simcraft Honda of Vincent Kahn. In 5th place as well is another DHR Simcraft car. So their team is going very well this season. Remember, 3 cars per team, all eligible for championship points. DHR Simcraft are in 2nd, 4th and 5th so far, so they'll be pleased with that, while Bonaccord Ultimate are in 1st and 7th at the moment, with Kane and Reggie in 7th, and 6th is Yuri Braham, Flying Dutchman Racing. You can see his livery there. In 7th place is Reggie Blaine in the Bonaccord Ultimate Honda, as I was saying. In 8th place is Tyler Scullett, the first non-Honda or Peugeot. It's Synaptic Racing Seat Toledo. Just as I was saying that, the NATO just popped up into 8th place, he did indeed. The Volvo S60. The Volvo and the... Oh, just pop along to the... There we go. The Volvo and the Honda seem to have the edge around here. The Peugeot 407 seems to be struggling at first, but it seems that people have worked their head around the Peugeot 407 in the wet. Drivers were complaining of a lack of feel and excessive understeer due to the high amounts of rear grip on offer. They seem to have driven around that quite effectively. It's emphatically shown by Lasky and Boucher so far. As I say, in 9th place is Tyler, he's just put him up the pits now. In 10th is Swiderski. Going to be difficult this race for the BMWs. It's not really a real drive track as such, and the wet conditions can make things quite difficult, especially when racing in traffic. Any slight touch can send the BMW sliding around. Also not very difficult for it to attack the curbs at the chicane, like the front wheel drive cars can. Hugo Gonçalves in his Seat there is in 11th place. He's one of a string of drivers who have joined the server for this particular event. 4 drivers have moved up from server 2 into server 1 after round 1. Hugo Gonçalves is one of those. Reese Gardner as well, and with Pedro Amaral and Gonzalo Inacio. So a whole host of Portuguese drivers there moving up. Hugo, it seems, was just practicing his pit stop there. Always valuable to do so. The pit lane entry is a little bit further in than perhaps you would realise at first. So it's very important to practice that, and we've seen as well at Road America difference people can make up just braking for the line in the pit stops. In 12th place is Eric Nelson, Synaptic Racing, Peugeot 407. 13th is Abdul Ahmed, another Peugeot 407 in his Gulf colours. Dan Asbury is in 14th place, the other BMW. Yet to join, I think, is Francesco Villa, who's in the BMW as well. Robert Alves is in 15th, racing for Terra Australis Racing. Tar in 16th place for Track Devil is Stefan Werner. In 17th place is the other FDR car of Michael van Scheppingen. Robert Alves has just popped himself up into 13th place there. Just a smidgen ahead of Abdul Ahmed. Daniel Wood again for Terra Australis Racing in 18th place. There's Reese Gardner. He's on a 4-minute lap right now. Obviously he's had a little rest somewhere, or gone exploring. The Volvo S60 driving for Track Devil Racing alongside Stefan Werner and Darius Swiderski. 20th place is Paul Wood, rounding out the TAR crew. And in 21st, 23rd, 24th, Francisco Villa has joined the server. Amaral and Villa are both out on track at the moment, but not having set a time so far. He's been practicing in a private server just before this race. And Gonzalo Ignacio, who is a late call up to server 1, is also joined. And he's in the Volvo S60 as well, so he's looking to get some laps in. Very interesting to see what Francisco VR can pull out of the hat at this particular track, along with Swiderski. They both ran very well at Road America. Swiderski taking second in race 1, with VR winning race 2. Swiderski had a rather hard time of it in race 2 himself, but VR was fifth and first. Very interesting to see what he can do at this particular track. Traction out of the slow corners onto the straights should be a help, but as I say, this particular corner here that Gonzalo Ignacio is going through now will be very, very difficult for the rear-wheel drive cars, simply because of those big bumps. They both break traction very, very easily, and therefore not able to put their power down, and dangerous spinning. Also very, very difficult with front-wheel drive cars around them. Any sort of tap in dry conditions can be catastrophic. In wet conditions it could be even more so. So heading up towards qualifying now then. On top of the grid at the moment is Kane Lasky, showing the pace so far. Second place is Tolberg, who's overtaken Solbershare again for that. Just back again is Khan. VR is obviously very strong indeed, look. In 5th place there with a 15.5. Obviously he's feeling good. Switch back to him now. He's on a better lap again as well. His best in the first sector. He's put plenty of practice in for this race, because it'll be a tough race for that BMW. Remember in the pre-race, Dan Asbury showed some decent speed. See the flick off the curb there, just puts it slightly wide and it flicks him back across the track at a bit of a moment. Always scary when that happens, but usually gatherable. Remember Dan Asbury had a good run in the pre-race we had here. 8th in race 1, the pole for race 2, if I remember correctly, or 7th and 2nd perhaps. But, again, the traits of the BMW around other cars caught him out as he was sliding, and another car caught him and that sent him into a complete spin. Just illustrated the perils of driving a rear-wheel drive car around other front-wheel drives. Francisco VR brings his BMW, his art BMW, around the final corner. Down the straight he comes. See what he can set here. We have 15.399. The field gets ever tighter. Aside from Kane Lasky, who's got a quite big margin at the top of the screen. That's a fantastic lap from him there. Tarborg is on a 0.23. Boucher on a 0.27. Khan on a 0.38. And VR on a 0.39. So the competition once again, despite it being wet and despite such a long track, again a long lap time comparable to last week, despite all those things, the field is still very close. We are now tracking Vincent Khan, who is the reigning champion. A little bit of a difficult race last time around. He had a good strong, medium strong I suppose you could say, first race, up in 5th place, 6th place sorry. And then he was going very well indeed in the second race before a very strange move into turn 1. So he can go flying off in front of Yuri Braham, Keith Barrick and Jesper Tarbuck and out of the race. Partly killed his engine, whether it was an engine stall or whether the impact, which didn't look to be very, very big, killed his engine is to be debated, but that was the end of his race as academic, and he scored 0 points from there. Although he might have scored, actually he did score quite a few points, I stand corrected, because he did complete 50% of the race, but still, he could have scored an awful lot more. So an inauspicious start to his defence of his title. Several cars going faster than they were before. Vincent Khan with green sectors and Barrick and Braham. Braham again looking for a strong run after his 2 podium finishes at Road America. NATO just popped up in the 7th now, so the top 8 is covered by less than 7/10 of a second. Vincent Khan's on a fantastic lap at the moment, it seems. Green sectors for himself. Yuri Braham's dropped a little bit in that lap, I think, and he might have just held up Vincent a little bit there. He was just behind him, trying to keep his speed up. The final corner he comes. 30 seconds left in practice, so these will be the last laps for everybody to show that what they can do before qualifying. Over the line he comes, and a 15.1 dead. So Vincent Khan is showing excellent form here at Nurburgring. Just in the background there you can see Yuri and Keith coming to the pit, practicing their pit stops. Also crucial as well, the pit stop can be a bit slipperier, coming down the pit lane, trying to stop on your marks, not wanting to give away too much time, but overshooting can be catastrophic as you have to press reverse in the pit lane and come back again as well. Also crucial will be the strategy of when and which tyres you decide to change. Changing fronts only is theoretically quicker, but you may find that the rear wheels will wear away even, sorry. Too much for that, and coming into the next corners you will be finding that you are oversteering all over the place. So here we are now in qualifying for the race. Super pole, remember, so that's 1 out lap, 1 hot lap and 1 in lap, so just 1 chance at pole position. Let's go and view the action now. See who's going out first. Charlie Nappy was going out first. Let's see if the top runners are seeing this out. Yet Kane Lasky has decided to go up first. Once again, just like he did at Road America, I think. He went out very early. No, it's Swiderski, sorry. But Kane's obviously feeling the need to keep that momentum up at a scintillating 14.9 during the practice. He'll be very, very happy with that. Right on board with him now. On his warm-up lap, there's 2 different techniques to the warm-up lap. You can go around and weave the tyres, brake, accelerate, get the heat into those tyres, or you can decide to run flat out around the track and get some heat into those tyres and some normality to where it will be. Maybe used to where they are at that time. Keep the pressures up in those tyres as well. It's very, very wet of course as well, so maybe it's better just to quickly get around the outlap before those tyres cool down, giving the most amount of heat possible. Drivers reporting temperatures as low as 70 degrees for those front tyres, which are usually around about the 95 degree mark. So the rain is having quite a bit of effect here. You see it's very, very damp indeed, as shown by his very oversteering moment there. Not sure he has to push quite that much on his outlap, but obviously trying to get a feel for the grip during qualifying. Of course, grip in qualifying is increased over practice, so perhaps these outlaps can be a precursor for finding out how much grip there is before your 1 hot lap. This is the only chance you get to find out about that grip. Through the chicane now he comes. A nice exit there. He'll be looking for a very wide exit here, a wide entry here, sorry, and a nice exit. Coming on to the straight, keeping his speed up, changing gear just at the right point, changing gear probably just before the line to minimise any speed loss down this straight. Kane Lasky heads down the straight now, braking just after the bridge here. JC car dives under braking as he heads down into the corner. Very shallow line there, using all the camber he can. Maybe a little bit wide there, but it doesn't look too bad. Again, quite a shallow line around this long right-hander, sorry. Down to this long left-hander. Once again, the track goes all the way around and then shoots you back across again. Over this curve, using all the track and more. He heads down now towards the S's. Sliding the car into there a little bit, but he managed to get it sorted out. Nice line into the second part of the S's. It looked like he got an X, an apex, and an exit there. Oh, so crucial. Very, very easy to treat both corners to stay in there, but they're both completely different. Heading now down towards another downhill braking zone into the hairpin. He looked a little bit deep there, a little bit late on the turn in as a result. Managed to get a decent exit, it seems. Nice and neat on the exit. Up now towards the Schumacher S's. Flying through here, clipping one curve, running over the other. The car drifted out, we're not touching those white lines, the curves. We should not upset the car. We switch through another set of S curves. Using all the track, that's nice and controlled there. Turns the car in. Coming down the hill now he comes. Before rising up the hill once again. Over the bridge. Braking now into the final chicane. Crucial for a good lap, this chicane. Bounces over one curve, bounces over the other. Very, very smooth. Not using all the curbs, interestingly enough. But very smooth indeed. Now going for a late as he dares brake into here. He's missed the apex quite a lot there. But it looks like he kept his speed up quite high. Diego Lopez new miles per 15.1. And Kane Lasky of 15.075. Not as fast as his practice lap. That's a very good lap indeed. It'll be very, very interesting to see how others compare. How the likes of Jesper, Francisco, Saul and Keith can do, and Vincent as well. I'll check if any of those guys are on track at the moment. On track at the moment is Saul Boucher, who has set the best time of anybody so far. During Sector 1, Jesper is also on track. He's better set the best time of anybody. During Sector 2, he is 5/10 up. Let's go and visit him for the final part of his lap. The ours has popped up in the third place with 16.0. Looks like Kane Lasky's lap will be eclipsed here. Yes, but bounces it over the curbs. Slide it now into the final corner. It's a nice line there. Not exactly at the apex, but looked clean and tidy enough. It seemed to get a decent exit. NATO with a 14.7. Jesper with a 14.2. That's a scintillating lap there from Jesper. What can... No, I can just find him. I'm going to miss him at this rate. What can Saul Boucher do? He was on an excellent lap. He is still purple in the second sector. So I think he was under Jesper's time even in the second sector. So let's see what he can do. He runs now down towards this corner here. It's going to have to be a fantastic lap from Saul, but it's not. It's a 14.4, but still front row. He'll be very, very happy with that. Meanwhile, Reese has had a mare of a lap, a 225.8, down in 16th position. Who else is still to go out? Francisco VR should be on track at the moment. So is Yuri Braham. He has set 6th fastest time. So he won't be 100% happy with that, I don't think. Now switch to Francisco Villa. Vincent Carlin's got out on track as well, quite late in the session, but now we'll stick with Francisco Villa. See what sort of form he's got in the BMW. Flying now through these curves. He's not faster than Jesper in the first sector. How's he doing in the second sector? The second sector split. He's coming up just after this corner. Very shallow turn in there, bit of a twitch as well on turning. Power down okay it seems though. 0.671 down, yeah, he's not very fast at all at the moment. Well, he's still in the 14s. If he can keep this pace up. Still not a lap to be sniffed at. Braking now down into this corner here. Bumped the car over once, twice. Very brave to do that in the BMW. Obviously very, very used to using rear wheels. Keep himself on the track, braking now into this final corner. Okay, nobody hitting the apex there perfectly it seems, but not entirely essential there at that corner. A 14.968 Francisco Villa, 14 has only put him in the 4th position. His compatriot and teammate Miguel Neto with 14.7. Sol Boucher and a 14.4, with Jesper Targo and a 14.2. Let's see what Vincent Kahn has got for us, shall we? The reigning champion is coming towards the end of his outlap. Hoping to put race 2 at Road America behind him. Getting himself back on the road to recovery. There is one drop score in this championship, so should he do well in the races after this point, then he'll lose that particular score, so that's not too bad. In fact, there's 2 drop scores, should I say. So that's a small bit of respite for him, I suppose. So Vincent Kahn heads around this first complex here. It's quite a wide line into here. Some of the cars are taking quite narrow lines, some middling lines, but he's using a wide line. Cutting the curb there, that's completely allowed. Now Vincent heads down into the S's again. Brake nicely into there, not quite as good a line as Kane Lasky had. And of course it hasn't done Kane Lasky very much good at all. In 5th place, I think he is at the moment. Double check for you, check the standings. He's in 5th place with Diogo Lopez, and Yuri Braham and Hugo Gonçalves. Yeah, so they've got 4 Portuguese drivers there in the top 8. Pedro Amaral not having quite as good a lap, in 17th place. So Vincent now heads through the very, very fast S's. Flat out, even in the wet. Now into here, getting into the camber, flowing out towards the curb, making sure you get it back across the track for this corner here. Quite a shallow turn in, but not too bad it seems. What he can do is he heads down now towards the second sector split. He's 0.351 down. If he keeps the pace up, he should be in 3rd position. See what he can do in the final sector. Jesper and Sol were very, very quick through here. Bumps over one curb, bumps over the other curb. Very nice indeed. To the final hairpin he comes. Bit of a slide on turning in there. He's missed the apex completely. That may have cost him a couple of tenths of a second. And Jesper crosses the line in 4th position. He may have got 3rd position. It wasn't that slight slide at the final corner. But 4th position is for Vincent Kahn, and he'll be happy with that. Now let's check with Keith Barrett and see what he's got for Jesper Tolberg. He isn't faster so far during the lap. Very, very tight line there. First driver to do so. And coming across the line now, it's going to be 2:15.2, and that's 9th position there for Keith Barrick. He's going to have it all to do in the race, starting from 9th. Won't be happy with that particularly. Not a bad time at all, but the level of competition is incredibly high at the moment in this particular series. And finally, to set a lap is Abdul Ahmed. Let's see what he can do. He's been running strongly so far. Running midfield. He heads now down in his Golf Peugeot 407. Top on board with him for this lap. Heads now down towards the final chicane. Licks it in, seems a bit wide there. Very difficult to tell from the angle, of course. And now we head down towards this hairpin. Goes round he comes. That's a very nice exit, actually, very nice line. Got a late apex. A nice exit it seems. 2:16.820 puts me in 18th place. A disaster, but he'll be looking probably for better than that. So everybody has set a lap time in now, and it's Jesper Tarborg who has set the fastest time for this. Looking very strong in practice he was, and he's carried that through into qualifying in pole position. And his Synaptic Racing Honda. In second for DHR Simcraft is Saul Boucher. Third for Art is Miguel Neto. Fourth for DHR Simcraft is Vincent Kahn. Fifth is Francisco Villa for Team Art. Sixth is Kane Lasky for Bonaccord Ultimate. Seventh is Diogo Lopez. Eighth is Yuri Breham for FDR. In ninth place is Keith Barrick for DHR Simcraft, and in 10th position is Hugo Gonçalves. While the Synaptic Racing Honda of Eric Nelson is in 11th, and the Bonaccord Ultimate Racing Honda of Reggie Blaine is in 12th position. So congratulations there to Jesper Tarborg. A fantastic lap from him during the qualifying session. Just in a couple of minutes time we'll be going to warm up, and we'll show you the full grid. I must let you know at this point that I am under the weather, so if I'm sounding sexier than usual, that's because I'm having to drink Lemsip for my man flu instead of beer. It's not much fun, I can tell you, but true dedication to the cause, staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning. Dedication you just can't come across nowadays. Keith is not paying me enough, obviously. So messages of sympathy are appreciated if you'd like to leave them in the chat room. Okay then, we'll be heading to warm up in a second. Let's assess the performances of the people who have moved up from Server 2. Diogo Lopez is the best of those drivers, in 7th place with a very competitive time indeed. He'll be pleased with his transition from server to server. Hugo Gonçalves was one of the other Portuguese drivers who's moved up in 10th position, with Cantalo Inácio in 16th, Pedro Amaral in 23rd. Those are the 4 Portuguese drivers brought up from Server 2. And 25th position was Reece Gardner, who's obviously had difficulty on his particular lap, going off at some point, through the gravel no doubt. So he'll have it all to do during qualifying. Here we are now in warm-up. We'll show you the grid there. Strong showing, as you can see, from the ATCC Season 5 champion from Miguel Neto, who'll be looking to put the nightmare of Road America behind him, involved in all kinds of incidents. Finishing well down the order, much lower than he's used to being. The S60 might have a bit of an advantage in the wet weather as well during racing. It's naturally an oversteery car, so combats the expected understeer during the wet sessions. So Boucher were looking to put a difficult road America behind him as well, whereas people like Yuri Braham and Keith Barrick, who had excellent road Americas, have found themselves back in the pack. So the drivers who had difficult times have fought back. Jesper was slightly underwhelming at Road America from what we're used to seeing, but he's come back with a vengeance, as you can see, with a 14.2, fabulous lap time there. With a very nice mix of cars in the top 10 there, of course. There's, of course, Honda, Peugeot, Volvo, another Peugeot and then a BMW. And the Peugeot and Diogo Lopez in his Seat, Yuri in his Honda, Keith in his Peugeot, and Hugo Gonçalves, I think, was in his Seat as well. Check that, Ryan. Yes, in a Seat. Indeed he is. I stand correct as well. Miguel Neto and Francisco Villa are not driving for Art, as I've been reporting. They're driving for Portugal Racing Team, PRT. The other auto racing teammate of Alessio Lucchesi. Start again, shall we? Pedro Amaral, should I say, is down in 23rd position. I was getting confused with all these Portuguese drivers. But it just shows the appeal of the American Show Car Championship, that they are willing to stay up at this time in the night, European time. We are now on 3 AM UK time, 4 AM European time. So it shows the quality of the field here and the willingness for people to sign up for these particular events, even though they're not during their particular time scale. Just goes to show the enthusiasm with people want to be part of this particular event. Obviously just want to be on TV and have me talk about them. So warm-up is almost coming to a close. During warm-up, and no one has set a lap time. Maybe just practicing their pit stops, as I said. Very important to get the braking right into pit lane. Dan Asbury's found us off the top of the timesheets with 2:16.964. He's qualified a little bit further down than he would have hoped for. He's obviously hoping for rear-wheel drive power to help him during the first couple of corners. Remember, it's a rolling start for the first race. The whole field will drift around the track before lining up and going. Second race will be a standing start, so that's where the BMW will really be able to make his advantage pay. So here we are now into the race session. Jesper has already joined the grid along with Yuri Braham. Both in their Hondas. Jesper's obviously enjoying his lights being on. Obviously feels maybe it's a bit of a superstition. Maybe he feels if he turns the lights off he won't go so fast. Cars are drifting onto the track now. See them all lining up on the grid. There's Sol Boucher taking his spot on the front row. Vincent Khan there in fourth. In the yellow window tint. Honda. A bit of a trademark of his. He ran that during season 2 also as well on his Volvo C30. This year he's changed to the Honda Accord, but still retained his yellow tint. There we are. Now it looks like we've got a full grid. Cars are moving away on their formation lap. Just a reminder to all again, just like the World Touring Car Championship in real life, the top 8 positions will be reversed for the second race. So the second race grid is determined by the results of race 1, with the top 8 reversed. So if you finish 8th in race 1, you'll start from pole position in race 2. Makes the 8th position highly fought for. It may be with his poor starting position that Keith Barker will look to utilise that reverse grid for race 2. His race 1 position may be a bit further down than he'd hoped for with his poor qualifying. Championship leader and season 1 champion looking to move through, which will be exciting to see. Miguel Nato seems to have copied Jesper Torbog's tactic of leaving the brake headlights on as well. Maybe it makes them go faster. They're certainly not harmed their cause, that's for sure. Heading on now round the middle portion of the lap. My Irish flatmate is singing at the top of his voice at 3 AM. Always entertaining. To be fair to him, he hasn't got a bad voice. But still, when you're trying to sleep, it's not great. But I'm not. I'm here with you guys for some American Touring Car Championship fun. As we build towards the start of this race, the tension we're building in the drivers. We head now down the back straight. Streaming around under the Zipcar bridge. Very impressive sight it is as well. Head now towards the chicane. This is a 10-lap race. Yes, the top. We're getting a bit out of shape there on the warm-up lap. Hoping obviously not to do that during the race. This is a 10-lap race, of which this lap counts as one of those. So there's a 9-lap race really for race 1, with a full lap 10-lap race for race 2. And Jesper Torbog has accelerated out of the final corner. Here we are now in formation towards the finish line, and Jesper Torbog is go. Through he goes, and a good start there seems from Vincent Khan, who has moved up, trying to go up the inside of Sol Boucher. Heading now down towards the first corner. It looks like Jesper Torbog's got it under control, but no, Sol's coming down up the inside. Jesper tries to squeeze across it in. Nato is in there. Vincent Khan, deep goes Diogo Lopez. And Sol Boucher has emerged out on top. And there's contact behind. Vincent Khan has been hit by Miguel Nato. They've both dropped a couple of places there, it seems, and there's a big logjam in behind. 4 wide heading down into turn 3 even, sorry. And that's Vincent Khan there in 4th place. He's dropped 1 place because of that tap from Miguel Nato. Miguel Nato is just behind him, so they've minimised the damage there. caused during that, Kane Lasky's picked up those 2 positions. Keith Barrick has moved up 2 positions to 7th place. Eric Nelson's now in 8th. As Yuri Braham has had a poor start, is now back in 12th position. So heading now down, they seem to have calmed down a little bit, heading now down towards the hairpin. As we're watching Vincent Khan being shadowed by Miguel Neto. Neto involved in contact again in this race. He was involved in lots of contact at Road America, which he was penalised for. Francisco Villar has also had a very poor start. Now back in 14th position. After starting in 5th, he will be not happy with that at all. He's looking to fight his way back through into the top 8 positions. Back down the field, Riscardo's made a good start. From 21st to 25th to 21st he's come. Dursky's having a poor race so far. So of course he's having difficulty, and we've lost a driver. I'm not sure who it is that's dropped out. But Salborshire leads. Jesper Tarbo just behind. They were the class of the field during qualifying. Kane Lasky is in 3rd. He was very quick during practice, so he'll be difficult to get past if Vincent Khan has any designs on doing so. And behind Vincent Khan is Miguel Neto. 6th is Diogo Lopez. 7th Keith Barrick. 8th Eric Nelson. And Jesper seems to be closing on Saul up front. We'll switch that battle now. Kane Lasky already moving across the track, trying to break the toe of Vincent Khan. Vincent Khan following him, making sure that Kane Lasky can't pull away from him, and it looks like Vincent is going to make a move. Kane has gone very defensive indeed. Vincent's going for the undercut, and he gives the back of Kane a little bit of a tap that allows Miguel Neto to close up on the back of Vincent Khan, and it's deja vu going into turn 2, sorry. And around he comes. Neto looks like he's gained a little bit on there. It's very difficult to pass into this corner. People can just cover the inside and go into the middle of the track. And it looks like Diego Lopez got very out of shape there. It looks like Keith Barrick gave him the attack because Keith slowed down, not willing to take advantage of that particular tap. And Eric Nelson's going right over the back of Keith Barrick now as well. So up front, Jesper Tarborg is shadowing the back of Saul Boucher. Very much a Jesper tactic of Tarborg tactic. Just shadowing for the first couple of laps, making his move later on when he knows where his strengths are. Very often just pulling away from the pack, so he's looking very strong here along with Saul Boucher. So Boucher for DHR Simcraft at the top of the table. Tarborg for Synaptic, Lasky for Bonaccord, 4th is Nato for PRT, 5th is Vincent Khan, so Nato has got past Vincent Khan. Resuming down into the S's, and now Diogo Lopez is all over the back of Vincent Khan. Vincent Khan is getting a real rub down during these opening laps. In behind Diogo Lopez is Keith Barrick, and he slides up the inside, and Diogo's gone sliding across the track. He held on to it. He's gone across the track. He's keeping the inside now on Keith Barrick. Keith sweeps across. I'm not sure if there's any contact there involved, but Keith has taken the place. In 8th place is Eric Nelson, looking for a way through as well. Headlights ablaze on Diogo Lopez. He'll not be happy with that, whether it's a tap or a mistake. He'll not be happy either way, with himself or with the driver in front. Just in behind here now, we can see is the Volvo of Gonzalo Inacio, with Yuri Braham making up a position on him. He got to 12th at one point, so he's now into 3rd position, and already coming into the pits is Gonzalo Inacio. Fastest lap there set by Jesper Tarborg, 2:16.0. Following him behind is the Bonaccord Honda of Reggie Blaine as they break going into the pits, and very quick into the pits there is Darius Widerski. And also following in is Abdul Ahmed. So a spate of very early pit stops here. But back at the front now, we have Saul Boucher coming under increasing attack from Jesper Tarborg. This is lap 4. In 3rd place is still Kane Lasky, with a nice gap it seems on Vincent Khan. In 5th in 5th is Vincent Khan. In 6th place is Keith Barrick. 7th is Diogo Lopez. He is being tracked very hard by Eric Nelson also as well. Headlights ablaze on Miguel Neto's car. Jesper Tarborg was very close after the first sector there on Saul, but seems to have lost that little bit there. Much deeper under brakes it seems is going into that hairpin. Jesper again, he's just shadowing the back of Sol, not letting Sol relax for a second. Sol getting slightly out of shape into this corner here, but it's not costing him, it seems, too much. But Jesper looks the smoother of the two drivers. It remains to be seen whether Jesper can make that smoothness count. Track position is everything, of course. As passing between two very well matched cars can be difficult. NATO in fourth, and Khan has caught back up to the back of the Volvo S60. NATO must have made a slight mistake somewhere. Yep, he's lost 7 tenths during that second sector to the first place of Sol Boucher. In 6th place is Keith Bragg, followed very closely indeed by Diogo Lopez. Diogo is not letting Keith out of his sights at all. Bragg really under the pressure in this race. And Jesper Talbog has passed Sol Boucher, because Sol Boucher has come into the pits on lap 5. Brakes on the marks, slowing right down he comes. So he's the first of the front runners to make a pit stop, and the only one of the top ones so far, it seems, to make that pit stop. Oh, Keith Bragg as well has come in, so of the top 8, those have come in. So Jesper Talbot takes over the lead of the race. Now can he put in a lap or maybe 2 to put a gap between himself and Sol Boucher and take that position in the pits? Of course, this is going to play out very nicely indeed, and Jesper is pushing, getting every line he can perfectly right. Jesper will have fresher tyres than Sol Boucher when they come out of the pits together, but it may be that the rears of Jesper's Honda may have worn a little more than the rears of the Peugeot of Sol Boucher, and therefore the balance may be a little bit more biased towards Sol Boucher. So it's a very, very close battle indeed. We'll stay with it and we'll keep you posted. NATO is still being shadowed by Vincent Khan. Breaking now into the hairpin. Notice cars getting ever more squirrely into that particular corner as this tyre wear comes in. Pursuing them gallantly is Diogo Lopez and his Seat Leon. Eric Nelson seems to have dropped back a little bit during this run. Europe Graham has worked his way up to 7th place. Of course, 2 people have pitted ahead of him, so he's in a net 9th overall. And a net 10th overall is Francisco Villa, who will be desperate to get back into that top 8, and therefore being prime contention for race 2, sorry. Jesper is pulling further and further away from Kane Lasky. Whether he can rejoin ahead of Sol Boucher is eagerly anticipated and looking forward to seeing this. Is he going to pit this lap? It looks like he is. Yes, he is. In comes Jesper Talberg. Is Kane Lasky pitting as well? Yes, Kane is coming in. Is NATO pitting? NATO pits. Khan carries on. Diogo carries on. Eric pits though as well. Yuri pits. VR is not pitting. VR deciding to carry on and go for fresher tyres during the second half of the race. So let's skip along now to Jesper Talbog as he comes into the pits. Stops on his marks, very smooth stop there. Yep, he gets it right. Looks like he's changing the front 2 tyres from what I can see. Down he goes and away he goes. Now where is Boucher? Boucher should be coming down straight now. There's a Seat Leon and there is Boucher, and it looks like Jesper has a big gap in front of him actually. Very big gap indeed. Pedro Amaral is in the Seat Leon ahead of Jesper Talbog, was not pitted, so that's very, very good news for Jesper Talbog. He's made that extra lap stick. Now can he get to grips with the balance of his car during this outlap? And it looks like that Sol has really got the bit between his teeth. He's all over the back of Jesper Talbog. This is for the race lead overall, remember. Heading now down into, and it's all over the back of Jesper. Jesper's really struggling on this balance of tyres. He gives the back of the Honda a little bit of a nudge, almost wide onto the corners. Tries to cut back up the inside, and it looks like he's done so. Heading now down, and it's a horsepower battle. Jesper's trying to squeeze across a little bit just to take the inside. Jesper brakes very, very late. Sol can't brake later. But Jesper's gone slightly wide again as well, and Sol's up the inside. Sol takes the lead, takes over position from Jesper Tarbo, and overall overall 5th place, but a net 1st position. And it looks like Jesper's decision to stop 1 lap later has not paid off overall, because the balance of his car looks completely askew as his rear tyres have worn away. Can the balance of his car come back quickly enough for him to track down Sol? If not, will he be under attack from Vincent Khan and Miguel Nato during the second half of this race? In 7th place is Kane Lasky, and he's now all over the back of Jesper Tarbo. So Jesper's really struggling in this second part of the race. He needs to get himself together very, very quickly indeed. In 8th place, keeping a watching brief, is Keith Barrick. Just behind him is Miguel Nato. So what on earth has happened to him? Why is he behind Keith Barrick? He should be just in behind Kane Lasky, so obviously something gone wrong there. Either a problem in the pit stop or a slight off somewhere. Perhaps he changed all 4 tyres, who knows? Maybe he forgot to request his pit stop and had caught his crew by surprise. So now Pedro Amaral has still not pitted. Sol Boucher has taken the lead of the race overall from Kane Lasky and Keith Barrick, and it seems, yes, Jesper Tarbo has gone back into the pits. I believe this could only be because he'd taken slick tyres on during his pit stop. Oh, what a disaster there for Jesper. No wonder he was so slow. Obviously a crucial error there from Jesper. He's blown his chances in this race, and possibly in race 2 as well, as he has dropped right down the field now. He's back in 20th position. Fighting back there with Darius, 22nd position. Fighting back there with Darius and Dan Asbury. 17th, sorry, as the game refreshes, in 17th position. Fighting there with Reggie and Tyler. I wondered for a second about the delivery to the car. So Jesper, a crucial tactical error. Really an oversight, really a new mistake, and that's cost him an excellent result here. It's lost him 16 places. A disaster it seems. But back up front, Sol Boucher has caught the back of Pedro Amaral and passed him. Pedro Amaral is still yet to pit, but Kane Lasky seems to have gained a little on Sol Boucher during this stint. Oh, up the inside, tries to go Kane Lasky, eager to make up. Of course, it is a position, that race with Pedro Amaral, but it's not for position overall, so Pedro should not be fighting considerably hard, and Kane's finding it a little bit difficult to get past, and Kane has gained 4 tenths in that sector 2, so obviously Pedro has held up Sol as well, and in 4th place, in 3rd place overall, has come Keith Barrick. Nothing has stuck to him. He's kept his nose out of trouble the entire race, picked up positions of people who's made mistakes. Back in 5th position overall is Vincent Khan. Oh, and a big slide there from Kane Lasky going into the final corner, revving the engine, making sure it doesn't fly off the track. And here's now the fight between Vincent Khan and Miguel Nato. Let's go on board with Miguel Nato. Heading now down towards the final corner, first corner, sorry. And Vincent Khan sneakily takes the inside line into there. These two have been battling at this part of the track all race long. Lap 1 they had an incident. Lap 2 they were glued together again as well. Passing each other left, right and centre. Down now towards turn 3. Right on board, right down on the ground. Watching Vincent Khan ahead. Heading now down towards the S's. Now we'll take a look back at the Volvo S60 of Miguel Nato. Meanwhile, Sol has pulled away again from Kane Lasky to 2.2 seconds, so obviously Sol was just being held up behind Pedro Amaral, and he has now established his superiority over the rest of the field. It's a shame really, because he was having a great battle there with Jesper Tarbo before Jesper's mistake, so he denied a great battle there. Like Vincent Khan has just pulled that little gap, it seems, on Miguel Nato behind. Let's check further down the field. Diogo Lopez is in 6th, Yuri Braham 7th, Gonzalo Ignacio in 8th. You'll be happy with himself bringing himself back up into the top 8 after his lap 1 drop down the field. Francisco Villar, it seems, is in 10th, so he's still not pulled his way back up through the field. Let's check in with him, see how he's doing, because he'll be desperate to move his way back up. There's Hugo Gonçalves just behind him, his countryman. Just ahead of him will be Matthias Klein. There we can see Matthias Klein looking back at Francisco Villar. Villar will be desperate to get past 9th place Klein so he can have a crack at the 8th place in Gonzalo Ignacio, and Klein himself wants to go past Gonzalo Ignacio and get nudged by Klein. Nudge wide. Through goes 3 cars. He's lost 3 positions there. Gonzalo Ignacio too. And Villar's gone up the inside with Klein as well, so Villar is into that crucial 8th position. This battle is very, very fierce indeed. There is Matthias Klein with Hugo Gonçalves all over the back of him. The German driver getting a big nudge there from the Portuguese driver. Art versus Bonaccord, Seat versus Honda, and Gonzalo Ignacio, who hits the back of Hugo Gonçalves. A big hit there, and it holds both of them up. And now around the back of them fighting for position is Robert Isles, who wants that 10th position away from these 2 guys who are squabbling. It is Seat Leon for Tar. And they're heading now around turn 2 and turn 3. Out of there they come. You see them settle themselves down a little bit there. But that was frantic action there, and Gonzalo Ignacio has gone from 8th to 11th. With a little bit of contact there, it seemed, from Matthias Klein and from, of course, himself on Hugo Gonçalves. Francisco Villar was a big winner out of all those shenanigans, getting himself up ahead of Matthias Klein into that 8th position, picked up 2 places in 1 corner. So Matthias Klein took 1 step forward, 1 step back. He's still in 9th position. He'll want to get past the ability again of Francisco Villar, but I fear it may be a task too much for him. Francisco Villar has shown great pace so far. We're on the penultimate lap. We'll check back in with the leaders. So Boucher still holding that position away from Kane Lasky with a big lead now of 3 seconds. Keith Barrick in 3rd place, 4.4 seconds back. He's kept his nose clean all the way through the race. Just picked up positions from other people's mistakes and brought himself up from 9th through to 3rd. An excellent race there for Barrick. This is why he's such a strong contender for the championship. And really the guy that everyone else is going to have to beat with pure consistency and speed. There's Yuri Braham in 7th. He's pursuing the Seat of Diogo Lopez, who is in turn pursuing the Volvo S60 of Miguel Nato for that 5th position. Miguel Nato seems to jump up and down the order like a yo-yo, really, stringing it out. Maybe he's struggling with this 2nd stint. Diogo Lopez stayed out maybe a lot longer than Nato. Maybe Nato is struggling with tyre wear. Barrick is now being caught by Vincent Kahn, and there they are, the 2 DHR cars. 1 Honda, 1 Peugeot. Vincent is all over the back of Keith Barrick. It looks like he wants a position. It looks like he's faster as well, but this is the last lap. It won't be easy to get past Barrick during this last lap. Meanwhile, in the background there is Nato and Lopez fighting it out. There's Kane Lasky just ahead of this group. Seems like Kane has made a small mistake somewhere, because he looks like he's got a smaller gap over these 2. Currently DHR are 1st, 3rd and 4th, so all doing very well indeed for their team. Francisco Villar is still holding on to that 8th position. Yuri Braham is closing up, and up the inside goes Vincent Kahn. Keith Barrick makes the mistake. Vincent Kahn takes 3rd position, so Barrick is back into 4th. Vincent comes flying through. He's had a very eventful race indeed. A nudge from Nato, a battle with Nato, dropping back through the pit stops, back to 6th place at one point. But now finding himself back up 3rd. Barrick isn't finished yet. He's all over the back of Kahn, who won't be happy with making that small mistake at the hairpin which let Kahn through. In the background there is Nato, Lopez, Braham. switch that battle quickly now as near to come down in towards the chicane. Lopez looks very, very close, but not close enough to make a move through. And looks like that those positions will stay the same. Again with Vincent Khan and Barrick. But Saul Boucher, who has put in an excellent performance, second place in qualifying, and was leading the race when Jesper Talborg came out of the pits ahead of him, but still Jesper Talborg made that very big mistake, and Saul Boucher takes the win. Race 3 of the ATCC Season 3. And he puts his troubles of Road America behind him with an excellent win. Kane Lasky in a Peugeot as well, 2.9 seconds back. Third place for Vincent Khan, as I say, DHR in first, third and fourth. Eric in the Peugeot fourth. NATO fifth. Diogo Lopez sixth. Yuri Braham seventh. Francisco VR eighth. Both of those guys will be pleased with their fight back after their very poor first lap. Francisco Virham especially dropping back to 14th place, having started 5th. Matty's clean 9th, just not able to take the position away from VR. 10th Gonçalves, 11th Ignacio, 12th Isles. Jesper Talborg managed to haul his way up into 13th position, so he might be a threat for the point scoring position in race 2, but definitely not a threat for the race. There's Daniel Wood in I think 14th place, Michael van Scheppegem in 15th, Amaral 16th, Nelson 17th. Perhaps he was another one that forgot to put wets on, and Skurlock as well, and Reggie Plain perhaps. So several guys I think not putting wets on during the pit stop. 21st place was Abdul Ahmed, 22nd was Reese Gardner, 23rd Stefan Werner, 24th Darius Widerski, and we lost a driver as well and still not found out who that is, to be fair. Can't quite tell from the standings at this particular point. So there we have it. Saul Boucher for DHR takes the win. 2.9 seconds away from Lasky. Poor Wood it was that dropped out from the race. He gained a mini dump, so he won't be able to join for race 2 either. So very, very unfortunate for him. So here we are now into race 2. And on pole position for this race will be Francisco Villa, making the most of that 8th position in race 1. Second place will be Yuri Braham. Third Diogo Lopez. Fourth Miguel Neto. Fifth Keith Barrick. Sixth Vincent Kant. Seventh Lasky. And 8th Saul Boucher, our race 1 winner. That will do his championship chances no end of good. Back in the 9th position will be Matthias Kling with 10th. Hugo Gonçalves rounding out that top 10. Jesper Talborg will start back in 13th as detailed earlier. He'll be looking for a very quick start here. Remember, this is a standing start for this particular race, so that will benefit Francisco VR greatly. He may even do exactly what he did at Road America, get away from the pack early and just set the pace and pulverise everybody and take a dominant and easy win. That may happen here with the fact that he'll gain a huge amount off the line here, well, should do at least anyway in theory. So he could be clear of the pack by the first corner and therefore able to set his own pace without other distractions around and perhaps take the win like he did at Road America. Round at the back of the grid will be Darius Widerski. I think he was one of those guys who didn't take wets during their pit stop. Several guys making crucial pit stop errors. Most notably, of course, Talborg. So here we are now. Away we go, and a good start there from VR. And struggling on the inside is Yuri Braham. Up the outside goes Diogo Lopez. Up in his second position, following his compatriot through. In fourth there is Keith Barrick, who's had an excellent start. And he's trying to take the third position away from Yuri Braham. And up the inside is coming Kane Lasky, flying around the inside. And Vincent Khan hits him. And he's a traffic jam as Mattis Clean goes around the outside. And Lasky is in fifth position. Yuri Braham's in third. He took the cautious way around there and found his way out in front of everybody. And running wide there's Mattis Clean. There it is. Keith Barrick with King Lasky up the inside of him. Lasky goes through, pushes him wide. Vincent Carr's in behind Barrick. In behind them is Boucher and Nato, who's dropped to position on this race start. In ninth place there is Talborg, I think. So he's had an excellent start. Yep, and 10th place is Gonçalves. 11th is Mattis Clean, just behind that group there, as you can see. And this whole train of cars here, Lasky, Barrick, Khan, Boucher, Nato, Talborg, Gonçalves and Mattis Clean, nose to tail going into the hairpin. Up front it looks like Diogo Lopez is putting big pressure on his countryman Francisco Villa. He was got away from the pack but not away from that one particular driver, Diogo Lopez. So he's got him for company, and Diogo is looking very, very fast in this opening segment. Yuri Braham is third. There's King Lasky in fourth. In fifth place is Keith Barrick, with Vincent Khan tracking in behind him, and Keith is slidey around the corner there. In seventh place there, in sixth place, sorry, should I say, is Miguel, seventh place it was, sorry, I'm correct, is Miguel Nato. He has up the inside of him coming Jesper Talborg. Wants the overlap going into this flat out kink, but he's not going to get it. Go on board now with Jesper Talborg. Jesper Talborg on the left. On the right is Saul Boucher in ninth position, it seems. So he's dropped a place overall, and Talborg is on a mission. It's race one disaster. He's looking very, very aggressive so far. Picked up 5 places already on lap 1. Coming on lap 1, Francisco Villar leads. Diogo Lopez just behind. There's Yuri Braham in third. Lasky fourth. Barry just behind him in fifth. Then Khan, Nato, Talborg, Boucher, Gonçalves and Clean just behind this group. And up the inside makes a move. And there goes Jesper Talborg making a move on Miguel Nato. Nato tried to squeeze across, but there's no room for him to do it there. A very poor move there really from Vincent Khan. Up the inside has gone Saul Boucher. Looked like a bit of a racing incident there, but Nato paying the penalty for not leaving room at the first place at the hairpin, slowing himself up, allowing the big space up the inside for Saul Boucher to come through. Nato get pushed wide. He's back down to 12th position now. He's got Tyler Skurlock all over the back of him, and he's bumped him behind as they go across the curb. And Skurlock is looking for a way past the Volvo 6s, the wounded and erratic and very hot-headed at the moment, probably Miguel Nato, involved in contact once again during these races. He seems to have got his head down now again though, as we check the rest of the field. Francisco Villar still leads from Diogo Lopez. He's pulled a little bit away from him. Yuri Braham is third, coming under increasing pressure there from Lasky and Barrick. In sixth place is Vincent Khan, who's been putting pressure on Barrick, but has dropped back ever so slightly. Seventh place is Talborg. And there's Boucher being pursued by Gonçalves. And here we are now with the big battle. The big battle now is Braham, Lasky, Barrick, Khan. Talborg will actually on the back of this as well. As we come towards the end of lap 2. Very fierce battle indeed. Barrick is in 5th there. Just ahead of him is Lasky. Just ahead of Lasky is Braham. Just behind is Khan and Talborg. Keeping watching brief so far. And VR is still leading from Diogo Lopez, but he's not pulling away from the Seat driver the way he would like to. Of course, it's very difficult to drive that BMW consistently in these races, in the wet conditions. And Barrick is looking up the inside of Lasky, forces Lasky to go a little bit defensive, but Barrick runs a little bit deep into that corner himself as well, but he gets a decent exit. He might get a slipstream here. We go on board now with Lasky, looking back at Barrick. There is the Peugeot of the DHR Simcraft team. And Lasky covers the inside, goes down the middle of the track. Oh, it is Khan just in behind him. Nathio, we lost Gonzalo Ignacio in the background there. So now we're down to 23 drivers, as in behind is Keith Barrick, just in behind Lasky. Vincent Khan and Tarborg both looking threatening, but Tarborg's good opening stint putting back in contention here, but of course he's among the very, very fast drivers now with very little difference between them all, so it's very, very difficult to make a pass. Graham is just ahead of this group, so he's managed to pull his way away from this group once again as well in the FDR Honda, looking for another podium position. If he could stay that would be his third of the season. And just in behind you can see Lasky is bunching the whole field up here, it seems, going slightly slowly. He's certainly got the pace, but has he got the pace in this particular race? And he's gone very, very deep there, so does Barrick. Khan takes the classic line and gains on them both. So it's very, very fierce battle indeed. So head now through the Schumacher S's. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, flying past over the camera. And just go VR with the 15.3, very, very fast lap indeed on lap 2. Pulling away now from Diogo Lopez, 1.1 seconds ahead. This is coming towards the end of lap 3 now. Boucher is up into 8th position. So ahead of Hugo Gonçalves and Matthias Klein. There is Nato in behind. He of course will now be in 11th position. Dropping back to 12th, so obviously he's got past Tyler Skurlock. I'm sure he dropped back to 12th position, so maybe somebody dropped back in behind him as well. Swiderski's moved his way up from 23rd, and into the pits comes Boucher for an early pit stop. Paid off for him during the last race, so why not try it again? And also up front in comes Lasky and Vincent Khan. Vincent looks like he gained quite a bit of ground there on the Peugeot of Lasky. Stayed out has Barrick, Graham and Lopez and Tarborg and VR Steele as well. That's a 1.5 second lead now, sorry, over the Seat of Lopez. And now Jesper Tarborg is just behind the Peugeot of Keith Barrick, and he's looking very aggressive indeed, looking really on the money, really trying to make up for that crucial error during race 1. He looks absolutely fired up and stoked for this race. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he comes out ahead of the guys who are pitted. Lasky and Boucher, who's already ahead of course as well, and Khan. This charge up through the field, all of the back of Barrick now as well. Barrick, who started in 5th place, is now up to 4th, but that's probably a net 5th position. And up the inside goes Jesper Tarborg. He can't quite make the move stick though again, as well as Barrick runs wide again at that hairpin. He did that during race 2, and that let Vincent Khan have the position during the last lap. Jesper is crawling all over the back of Barrick. What Jesper doesn't want, of course, as well, he wants to get past Barrick. He doesn't want Barrick to drive too slowly. He doesn't pick up the positions in the pits. That's what he'll be looking to do. But of course, it's very difficult to resist not having a go at every single corner, trying to get past guys, and a very, very oversteer coming out of that corner there. He's pushing extremely hard, is Jesper Tarborg. Down now towards the chicane. Who will be pitting this time around? Is VR pitting? VR's not pitting. Lopez is pitting. In comes Lopez. Braham does not pit. Barrick pits. Tarborg pits. Tarborg gain on Barrick in the pits. Having someone in front of you going into pits can be a big help to judge your own braking. For that big line there, and there it is, just there, stopping for the line. I think Barrick did a better job than Tarborg going into there. Looks like there's a slightly bigger gap now because they're going slow, and the gap still looked the same distance before. Jesper stops on his marks. Up front, VR still leads. There's Lopez in the pits. Nato in 3rd place. He's not pitted, of course. There comes Barrick out of the pits, and there goes Tarborg out of the pits, obviously hoping as well this time he made the right decision to change to wet tyres, and there goes Lasky and Vincent Khan. Have they overtaken Barrick out of the pits? There they come now. Barrick is holding them up, trying to hold them at bay. And there is Kane Lasky trying to slide up the inside of Barrick. He's done so. Kane goes up the inside of Barrick, again taking Barrick in the same corner he did on lap 1. And up the inside now is coming Vincent Khan. He hits the back of Barrick, touches the back of the Peugeot. Tarbog is taking advantage. He's taken both positions there. That's fantastic driving, opportunistic driving there from Tarbog. And now he's all over the back of Kane Lasky, heading down now towards the Schumacher S's. On the grass they go, bumping, touching, going into there. Kane's being very aggressive. Round the outside goes, yes, but he's made it stick. A fantastic move there. But can Kane Lasky get the cutback? Heading down towards the hairpin. Has he got enough of a run? I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. Fabulous driving there from Tarbog. He picked up 3 positions in just 2 corners. Opportunistic, smelled his opportunity and went straight through. Great driving there. So he should be up into a net 3rd position overall, I do believe. 4th position, sorry. May pass Yuri Braham depending on his pace on this particular lap. But up front, will VR be pitting this particular lap? Amaral stayed out a long time once again. NATO is currently still out there. Braham pits, VR pits. Will NATO pit? NATO will pit. Into the pits he comes, round on lap 6 now. Lap 6 of 10. Braham is pitting. There is VR pitting as well. Let's head back towards the battle with Jesper Tarbog and see where he comes out in comparison to Braham and VR. He's pulled away from Lasky. Jesper is on absolute fire in this particular race. And there is Amaral in front. He'll be hoping that Amaral doesn't hold him up as Amaral did to Boucher and Lasky during the first race. Can Tarbog catch the say-out of Lopez, who is in a net 2nd place overall? There goes Yuri Braham just up ahead, rejoining track. He should stay ahead of Jesper Tarbog. He does indeed. There is Pedro Amaral in between the two. He'll be looking to get past him as soon as he can, but there is Yuri Braham, and Jesper is very close indeed. He'll be very pleased with his performance throughout so far. So he's in a net 4th place, having started 13th. Really showing the absolute raw pace that he has and the raw racing instinct. Bumping over the curve, looking way past pesky say-out of Pedro Amaral. Really interfering with this lead battle here. Chisco VR came out ahead of Diogo Lopez for the lead, still with a 1.5 to 2 second lead. Robert House is currently in the lead of the race. Reggie Blaine there in 2nd place. They are both still to pit. Still to pit as well is Pedro Amaral, but apart from that, everybody else has pitted, and the big battle in behind here with Lasky and Barrick in behind him still. This battle rages on. Tarbog's looking to get past that say-out of Pedro Amaral, and he's been held up badly up behind him. But Pedro's gone and hit. They've made contact, and Tarbog has lost some ground to Lasky. Now he's under pressure. Tarbog won't be happy about that at all. Amaral has interfered with the leaders quite a bit in both races. He's perfectly entitled to. Of course, it upsets the natural rhythm and order of things. Racing for position after all, but not realistically. They're not making a pit stop, and Tarbog's run very wide indeed. Lasky's looking for a great run off this corner to take advantage, but not got it, and instead it's Barrick who's made a good run off the corner. He's pressuring the back now of the Bonaccord Peugeot. Heading now down into the chicane. He's got a big toe, and Lasky's gone very defensive. Takes the inside, drifts across back a little bit as well. He's gone very deep. He's gone far too deep. Through goes Barrick. Barrick takes the opportunity. In behind now is Vincent Khan. Can he take advantage of this? Saul Boucher is behind Vincent Khan also. Can Vincent Khan take advantage of Lasky's on both sideways, the DHR cars? Saul almost going into the back of Vincent Khan, coming down the track here. And now everybody's pitted. And the order is shaken out just like this. VR is 1st, Lopez 2nd, Braham 3rd, Tarbog 4th, Barrick 5th, Lasky 6th, Khan 7th, and Boucher in 8th. It's the usual pretenders fighting out those positions once again. As round they go. Looking up the inside is Vincent Khan on Kane Lasky. Seems to be struggling a little bit at the moment. Maybe a little bit ragged after his mistake. And just in front of this crew is Barrick and Tarborg. Tarborg under pressure from Barrick. Barrick looking to build on his 4th place from race 1. Very sideways into that corner there. He gets it back across. Almost understeered straight off the track. Very, very easy to do so in that particular corner. Just missed the camber. And away you go. And Lopez is gaining on the back of VR. Lopez, a very, very strong showing. This is his first time in Server 1 after being promoted from Server 2 after Road America. And putting in a very, very strong showing indeed. Perhaps we'll wonder why he wasn't in Server 1 in the first place. Obviously didn't get the lapping he needed and the pre-qualification zone for Watkins Glen. Or maybe one of the ones who put too many laps in and was penalised as a result. Braham was not out of the race picture also as well. He is beavering away in 3rd place. Another strong showing from him. There's Tarborg. He seems to have pulled away a little bit from Barrick, but it's Lasky, Khan and Boucher which is still the big battle. Lasky is still under pressure from Khan, and Khan is still under pressure from Boucher, the 2 DHR teammates. Khan seems to have a very slow run off there, and Khan's gone wide, and so Boucher has got the overlap, but of course he's on the outside for the next corner. Will Vincent Khan make the same mistake Lasky did the lap before? No, he doesn't. It's a decent run off there as well. Boucher looks to the inside, but obviously there's no room there. And the battle continues on. And Lasky is looking for that line again as well, trying to break the slipstream of Vincent Khan, and also both cars in behind, following the slipstream as best they can. And they head down now as well. Boucher looking up the inside, but the brakes on that Honda are very, very good indeed. And Lopez is getting closer and closer to the lead of VR. VR looking for his 2nd win of the season after a disappointing lap 1 that meant a recovery drive was needed in race 1. The gap is still around about a second. Braham is slowly but surely gathering in these two. In 4th place is Tarborg, who's moved away from Keith Barrick. He'll be keeping an eye on the top 3, see if any shenanigans occur and whether he can profit from those. He was hurt very, very badly by the incident with Amaral. In 5th place is Barrick. 6th is Lasky. In behind him still is Khan. In 8th place is Boucher. Can Boucher find a way past Khan, and can Khan find a way past Lasky? Boucher, our race 1 winner, in 8th position so far, just showing the quality of this field. Very, very difficult to move the way up. They are touring cars, you can pass, but very, very difficult when the cars are so evenly matched. Drives themselves as well. And we're on to lap 8. In these wet conditions, very, very tricky, very, very easy to make a mistake. And Lasky gets it slightly sideways into that corner there, but he seems to get away with it. Can't seem to get a better exit though, it seemed. He seems to be doing okay. Further down the pack, Skurlock and NATO were involved in a battle. NATO involved with the battle with Skurlock once again, who were fighting earlier on in the race. NATO was falling behind Skurlock now as well. So he again is having ragged races, showing great promise both here and at Road America. But having ragged runs and really costing himself lots and lots of positions. Becoming his own worst enemy really at the moment. In 13th place is Michael van Scheppenkamp, who's had a quiet run so far. In behind him is Robert Isles and Eric Nelson. Eric Nelson takes position away from Robert Isles. Takes 14th position from the Australian racer. In 13th place there is Michael van Scheppenkamp. Not seen much of him in the event so far. In 16th is Stefan Werner. 17th is Stefan Werner in behind Daniel Wood. 18th is Reese. 19th is Blaine. 20th is Gonsalves. He's dropped way down the order. 21st is Amaral. 22nd is Ashburn. A lap, not a lap down, sorry, is Abdul Ahmed. Still in 1st position is Francisco Villa. He's pulled a little bit away from. There is Abdul in 23rd position. Francisco VR has a gap on Lopez. Lopez has brought it back again as well. He's keeping his compatriot very honest indeed. Braham is gaining slightly on this group, but not enough really to challenge properly for the win unless something occurs between these two. In fourth place, same sort of situation is Jesper Torborg. He needs something to happen in front of him for him to take a position away. In fifth is Khan, in seventh is Boucher, in eighth now is Mattis Klein. So what has happened to Kane Lasky? He's dropped down to 11th position. A mistake has been made somewhere. He's dropped back behind. Nigel Nato has also dropped back a lot from Tyler Skurlock. So something is happening there too. Kane Lasky looked very strong indeed to build on his very good first race result. He's dropped back to 11th place now. And there is Saul Boucher and Vincent Khan still battling. It's deja vu as Saul looks for the inside and he's going for the inside now into this chicane. And Vincent Khan defends vigorously. Great driving from both of them there, but Vincent Khan's gone deep and Boucher looking for the inside, but Khan spoils the exit of the corner there, as is his right. And VR has made a small mistake up front, it seems, because Lopez is right in behind him now, and Braham is less than 2 seconds behind. On to the final lap. Can Lopez take a sensational win? His first time in Server 1, and only his second race, race 1 of course being his first race. Can he take the win on the final lap from VR, his compatriot, and take a sensational win? This will be a fantastic result for the ART driver. In behind him again as well, stalking is Yuri Braham. VR is looking more and more tentative as laps go by. 6th and 7th is still Vincent Khan and Boucher, with Mattis Klein gaining these as well. So perhaps I think Khan, Boucher and Lasky must have had an incident which held them all up, because Mattis Klein and Tyler Skurlock have all gained on them and they were quite a way behind before that. There is Braham in 4th, there is Lopez in 2nd, Braham in 3rd, sorry I should say. And VR now is just half a lap to go. Less than a minute. Take his second win of the season. Put himself back into the championship fight, which he lost quite a bit of ground with his 8th place in race 1, which, considering his lap 1 exploits, was actually quite a good result. But this win has been much more gritty than his win at Road America, where he just drove away from the pack. This win he has dug deep for, and Lopez is still not safe from the Honda of Yuri Braham. If Lopez makes a small mistake into this corner, Braham will eat him for breakfast. In the 4th place there is Jesper Torborg. Khan is still staying ahead of Saul Boucher. Round the last corner they come up to now. VR looks like he's going to take the victory. His second race win of the season. There in 2nd is Lopez. Lopez gains on VR into the final corner, but he tantalisingly close to that win, but he gains an excellent second position anyway. VR wins, Lopez 2nd, Braham 3rd, less than a second covering the top 3 after 24 minutes of racing. In 4th place Torborg, 5th Barrick. A 4th and 5th place for the championship leader. I don't know if he'll be leading championship still after this race. I think he might just still be doing. 6th Khan, 7th Boucher. Khan managed to hold off the tensions of Boucher. Skurlock in 8th, 9th Klein, 10th NATO, 11th Lasky, 12th Swiderski, moving himself well up from 23rd position. 13th Nelson, 14th Van Scheppingen, 15th Robert Isles. So Nelson must have been ahead of Van Scheppingen at some point as well. So we saw them behind the Dutch driver before. Wood in 16th, Daniel that is, 17th Werner, 18th Gardner, 19th Gonsalves. In 20th position, coming over the line, should be Pedro Amaral. There he is, and 21st should be Dan Asbury. Can we scroll down the grid? Thank you, there we go. 22nd was Reggie Blaine. He has had 2 nightmarish races after showing some good pace even in practice, and in 23rd position now, just finishing the race, is Abdul Ahmed, who's obviously had quite a bit of trouble. We'll see what happens to him if we can a little bit later on. Abdul rounds out the field. So there we have it. VR takes his second race win of the season in just 4 races. Obviously the race 2 master at the moment. In second place, as you can see, was Diogo Lopez. 3rd Braham, 4th Tarborg, 5th Barrick, 6th Khan, 7th Boucher, and 8th Tyler Skurlock with a very good run, keeping his nose clean once again. Lasky will be disappointed with dropping to 11th after his strong run. Klein will be pleased with his 9th, keeping it up there. NATO again, a scrappy race, leaving himself in 10th place. Sudersky has not helped his championship hopes at all with 2 poor results here, although 12th place was good considering the place he started from in race 2. 13th place was Eric Nelson. And there is our race winner in the Peugeot, in the BMW 320. So we should be joined by a couple of drivers now from Server 1. I'm not sure who won in Server 2. I was hoping they would give us a message to let us know, but clearly they haven't done so far. So the end of 2 grueling 24-minute races. Solberger took the first race win, with VR taking the second race win, and Solberger joins me now. Sol, an excellent race win there, profiting from the mistake in the pit stop from Jesper Torborg. How do you think that went?
The race overall?
How did the first race go for you? Did it all seem under control?
I think I kind of got gifted a little bit of luck there with the positioning at the start. I totally expected, I would have thought that Jesper would have gotten the inside lane, but I got that, and I was able to basically make it stick going to the first turn and take the position away from him right off the bat. So that was kind of a bit of a luck draw for me there. Overall, the race, I just focused on attrition, tried to make sure I hit all my apexes right and not make any mistakes, because I mean, that'll just kill you on this track in the rain. One small mistake and you can lose a second easily on this track. So it was a lot of focus. I really had to focus down. I pitted early. I kind of figured that that would balance my tires over the second stint, and I wasn't thinking that I might get stuck behind some of the back markers. So I think that mistake kind of offsetted the mistake that Jesper made, and he was actually able to get out of the pits in front of me there, but I was able to get around him again because I had warm tires. Yeah, I mean, at what point did you realise that that he had the wrong tires on his car? As soon as he came out of the pit, I knew that his tires would be cold, and mine were up to temperature. So at that point, I knew I had to pounce on him then and there. I had to, basically take opportunity and get around him quickly, or I was going to lose the race. Did you twig that he was on the wrong tires once he dropped quite dramatically back? No, actually, I didn't. I didn't realize that until later on in the race. I figured they were just cold. No, he's obviously changed the tyres to the slick tyres. Very easily done. The second race, you were involved in a massive scrap with Khan, Lasky, and Barrick for most of the race. How did that one go for you? Actually, no, that wasn't me. That was Vinny, I believe, that was locked in that battle. I was kind of a little ways back from it, kind of watching it from behind. Oh, Khan was there. Well, you were all over the back of Khan for most of the race. I was behind Vinny.
Yeah, I thought behind me for most of the race.
Vincent, Khan?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Okay, a little bit too close for you.
We'll skip over to Yuri. Again, another podium, Yuri, but the first race didn't go so well for you. The first lap you saw yourself drop back to 12. You managed to bring it back to 7th. What happened on that first lap?
What can I say? A combination of the bad weather and a lot of cars on the track. Yeah, so yeah, there was a little bit of bumping, but you can expect that with this kind of weather. So yeah, I caught a little bit, hit it on the rear, and then I dropped back a little bit. So yeah, the rest of the race was like battling up the field. My call was to finish in front of Keith, but he had a really good start, and he was just on the right side of the track when everything happened.
Yeah, I mean, in the second race, though, again, you were cautious into turn one, but emerged ahead of everybody else in third place as they all got into each other and a massive traffic jam ensued. So obviously, being cautious in race two paid off. In race two as well, you had good pace, but couldn't quite catch the back of Lopez and VR. You almost did at the end. How did that go for you? I mean, did you struggle with any balance problems at all?
Well, actually, as Keith said before, never change a winning setup, and you can imagine what I did. I changed the setup. I didn't like it in the first race, but I think it was also due to the little hits on the car. You can really feel that when the conditions are red. And yeah, in the second race, it was just trying to catch the two front runners of me, but they had slipstream of each other. And then they're just a little bit quicker on the straights. So I was hoping that someone was catching up with me to push me to them. Yeah, it was nice to see them in front of me for the whole race.
Yeah, so keeping watching brief the whole time. Moving on to you, Keith. You managed to keep your nose clean and move away up from 9th after a poor qualifying in race 1. But Vincent got you on the final lap.
I was struggling quite a bit with the car. Also, Vinny was way quicker than me, and if it was anyone else, I probably would have defended until I had no doors left. But he is a teammate, and I'm not going to hinder his progress. I was much slower. I made a mistake, and instead of blocking the line, I just allowed him to get through.
Yeah.
But Vin did a great job in race 1. It's great to see two of the DHR Simcraft guys first and third. It's great to see us all up there. Considering we put in the practice and just look for the results. Yeah,
DHL were very, very strong here with obviously Saul taking race 1 win and
absolutely.
Yourself up there very, very much so. Kane, moving on to you. I'll skip. Well done on race 1, but I'll skip first to race 2. And we didn't get to see us on the broadcast. But was there an incident between you and Khan which held you up, or did you just run wide?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Actually, I had some kind of a wire coming loose on the steering rig and causing a little electrical fault, and finally at the end it gave out a few laps from the end, and I lost a few spots, and I actually had to climb under there and put it back. So that was unfortunate for me in the second race.
Yeah, because I wondered where you'd gone to, because I think Boucher and Khan have been held up as well, because Skurlock also merged on the back of them, and so did Clean. Race 1, how did race 1 go for you as well, sorry?
Actually, I apologize for those guys in race 2, like they were really clean, like I was having when I was making the steering inputs, like it was cutting it out, and so I wasn't actually as smooth in keeping the pace, and Keith actually, I made a mistake and let him by, and then it just deteriorated from there. Race 1 was good. It's important here to get out in the clear air, and I knew I had a good pace if I could just get out in the clear air, and there was a little bit of trouble in turn 2, and I was able to sneak by, and that's exactly what happened. I had some clean air, and I was able to put down the pace that I needed to and come out in front after the pits and just be there. And in the second race, I didn't actually get such a great start and got held up a little bit and actually made up a little bit in the pits, but at the end I dropped back a few spots. But all in all, a good weekend, some great racing. I'm going to actually have to watch the replay to remember most of it, because it was intense to keep the concentration.
It was all action. Vincent, I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah.
Yep. How did that all go for you? I mean, you had very good pace, and you converted that into a third place in race 1, and a sixth was it overall in race 2. How do you think that went for you? You were involved in battles pretty much all the way in both races, especially with Miguel Neto in race 1.
Yes, very much actually. In race 1, in the start, I got a pretty good start, but after turn 1, I got the tap from Nato, and just trying to hold on to the position and then just keep the pace up. He passed me like several laps later, and then I was trying to do a late pit stop to leapfrog him, but it didn't work out. But at the end, the pace is good because my tire is fresh, so I was able to gain a speed on Keith and pass him when he went wide. Race 2, actually, I turned around and do an early pit stop. It didn't work out for me. At the end, I was really struggling for grip, as Saul might have known. Like I can't stop the car basically. So sorry about that. I didn't really mean to shut the door on my teammate, but the front was so loose. I was struggling for grip. But for the last 2 laps, I tried a different line, and it kind of worked out.
You couldn't stop the car. That's unfortunate, because I was commenting how good the Honda was on the brakes. So now I look like a fool.
Yeah, my stop was too early. Like in the practice, I usually do midway pit stop or late pit stop and work out well. But for early pit stop, it seems the tire was just attacked too much when it approached the end of the race, so it didn't really work out.
Okay. Well, okay, guys. Thanks very much for joining us here. Congratulations to Sol for the race 1 win, and of course VR taking his second race win in race 2. 2 wins in 4 races. Thanks very much, guys. We'll hopefully be seeing you guys after the new year. So
Absolutely.
We'll, see you later.
KW Speedway.
KW Speedway is the venue for that race.
Yep.
Very exciting will be as well. All in the same car on the very fast oval track there.
Correct, yes. And Ryan, thank you again. You do an excellent job. Can't thank you enough, man, for staying up so late and doing what you do best.
Even with man flu. Okay, guys. See you later.
All right. Later, Ryan.
Cheers.
Everyone up.
Good night, guys.
Okay, guys, that was the second event of the American Touring Car Championship, Season 3. Just heard from the drivers. Congratulations again to the victors, Saul Boucher and Francisco Villa. I hope you enjoyed the coverage here. We'll see you again after the new year, again on a Friday night at the KW Super Speedway. The difference with this event is that every single driver will be driving the same car, all driving the BMW 320 SI, which is found to be best for that particular race. So look forward to that. It promises to be a very, very close battle indeed. So from all of us at the American Touring Car Championship, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next week.